We're here with Susan Maynor. Hello, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited to talk to you for a couple reasons. Kara and I have been friends for a while. I've watched her business grow, and I am somebody who just has a deep feeling for people who are trying to make the world a little better place. So I'd like you to just kind of talk to me, first of all, about when you were first diagnosed with cancer and what that looked like for you.
Sure. I said it was 2018.
Yeah.
It was March of 2018. I went in for a regular mammogram. And it was, hey, some of your calcification looks a little weird, and they did an ultrasound and didn't see anything, so I went back for a biopsy, and sure enough, it was breast cancer. Part of my story is I lost my first husband to a very rare cancer when my kids were babies. And so I had a lot of PTSD from just cancer in general, carrying that around like, okay, I'm gonna die. That was my first initial thought. But the experience that I had from the very beginning was, the radiologist who told me on the phone said, that's not your story. We've got this. You're going to be okay. Thankfully, the head of oncology, especially of the stage 4 metastatic at St. Luke's, he was a dear friend of mine. I reached out to him right away, and he called me that night and was like, you're going to be fine. I will see you on Friday. I'll make space for you. And just beginning that journey of how they were going to treat me, they walked me through those steps. I chose to do the most radical I could do because I still have 2 children and I wanted to be alive and whatever it took. So I sort of walked, I was told right away based on my pathology that I would need to do chemo. And so I was like, all right, so what does that look like? And, just the way that there was so much respect for me as a human, the way that the nurses worked with me, the doctors. It was so much about, okay, here's what you'll feel. It was almost like they said exactly what I ended up walking through, and then they had answers to all those things. If you're not going to feel good here, here's what you can do. Hook you up with this person and that person, support groups if you need them. I did end up having a double mastectomy, so that was obviously very life-changing to my body, but I felt very confident about that decision, mostly because I was like, I don't want to be here again. Whatever it takes because I'm a mom, that I wanted to be healthy. Had to jump through some more hoops with some different kinds of treatments, but when I first was diagnosed, it was my whole, I was scared to death. But quickly, like I mentioned, just the way that the whole system is, there's so much, 1 in 8 women have breast cancer of some, there's something, and every pathology is different. Even if there's some similarities, every journey is different. You bring your backstory with you as you walk into your next story. So I would say that for me, it was an incredibly redemptive story. I never really heard, hey, you're gonna die. Because my experience the first time was, this is a rare cancer, I'm sorry, it's probably not gonna make it. And so being able to hear, we've got this, we can treat it, it's gonna be hard, but you can do it, and we're here for you, and what do you need? That was incredibly encouraging, even in the moments where I didn't feel good. It was like, oh, I have a team of people that are just constantly making sure I'm okay.
I'm curious because when I talk to you off camera, I know that you have 2 sons.
I do.
Obviously, you lost your first husband.
Yes.
And it was very cut and dried. And when you were given this diagnosis, I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if you've gone through something like that before, that sometimes the emotions are a little bit shut down, and it is almost like you're going into war. Like, okay, we're going to go into this, and especially if you have children, right? And the common theme that I have talked to from personal experience with friends who've had cancer, especially breast cancer, even conversations with Kara, is there's this moment because you're just fighting for your life, you're fighting for your family. And then when you're actually giving this light at the end of the tunnel, it's all this relief. But in the process of it, you've almost forgotten some parts of you and usually it has to do with femininity.
Mm-hmm.
It has to feel like being like a woman because you have lost so much, whether it be the loss of a relationship, a physical loss of just what we're defined as for women, these beautiful
Mm-hmm.
breasts. And then even the mother side becomes more of the warrior mother.
Mm-hmm.
What instance were you reminded once again of just wanting the femininity back and remembering that you don't have to be the warrior,
Right.
and that
Yes.
you can be the woman?
You know, I think for me, being able to have, I have a husband and I have these two boys that I'm still modeling being I'm the female in their world of hopefully someday they'll, get married or whatever. And, there was, at first it was a little bit more, I'm channeling my inner Black Widow, like, all right, I've just got to kick to the curb and whatever it takes. But I think as I kind of came out of chemo, and which, I had it was every 3 weeks for 6 sessions. And once I kind of came out of that, because that was just physically exhausting, and I worked through it all, and I put a smile on my face because I work in an elementary school. So I was like, you know what, I need to be strong. That warrior was there. But it happened to end in summer, and I had a chance to sort of sit back, and I was like, okay, like there's going to be a new me, and I'm good with that. Like, if anything, my scars and my wounds represent something very feminine to me, and something very strong and very beautiful. Because I think at the end of the day, we often operate from our wounds, and when those wounds heal well, then we can be that much more for others. So I don't know if there was an actual turning point, as more having a moment where I was like, okay, I'm not so tired anymore, and now I can move forward. Because if anything, having surgery, sure, that was rough, but at the same time, I knew I was moving towards something new. And I have a phenomenal plastic surgeon. He's an artist. Just being able to rebuild, and I feel very feminine in my clothes. And even when and actually meeting Kara, and just, you wouldn't think that, it was something that just was like the most amazing dessert at the end of the meal, right? Like, It was like, oh, wow, like, they look real. And I'm like, and my plastic surgeon had done such a phenomenal job. I felt beautiful. Like they were real, right? And it was like, oh. Yeah. And so, for me, it's been a very good part of the journey to embrace the way that my body is now. And again, having artists such as my plastic surgeon and Kara, it's a beautiful thing.
I love it. Describe to me when you met her, and today, what's going to happen?
So she is, she's a rock star. She shared a little of her story when I first met her. So just, knowing her story of being homeless and then literally doing life's work to make other women beautiful. That to me was so life-giving when I wasn't so scared about doing it or anything, but she just was this, it was like bubbling of joy, and she's funky, and she's got this whole thing going on, and her excitement and enthusiasm for making me beautiful was what I really felt. And I walked away and going like, well, again, it was like the best dessert you could ever ask for without gaining a pound, and it was definitely something that, so today, and this is my understanding, so I was able to meet with her in July, where my journey started to have my areolas designed, and I trusted her completely. I was like, so I kind of think I know what I want, but I said, I trust you. And she set me up and got me all like symmetry and looking, and based on her expertise. So and they've been fabulous, and now she's gonna do some touch up, just a little here, a little there, put her little artistic work into me. And again, I'm so happy with where they are right now, but I'm excited to see what she'll do today too.
I love it. Well, it's funny, a little secret between you and I, these eyebrows aren't real.
Well,
let me tell you, it's always an interesting experience to sit down in a chair,
yes,
and have something done to your body that's permanent.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's an area of your body that has been through a lot, or
Yes.
for me, my face is just like, and it's, you know, where I cry. I mean, it's like, these are the frames to the mirrors to my soul. I remember when she first sat down with me and she was doing the measurements, and you're like this close, and I'm sure she was this close.
Oh yeah,
to your
she's right. I know, like a secret spot. But hey, this is what we're gonna do.
And it's so intimate, and it's so interesting because it's not like it's the best feeling thing in the world, but it's so beautiful when you're having this exchange with another woman,
Right.
where she's literally running this needle over the curves of your femininity, and you're like, this hurts, and she's got this big smile on her face and she's talking you through it, and then all of a sudden it's over, and then you look in the mirror and you just feel just a little bit better about yourself, you know?
Yes.
It's really a blessing.
Yes.
I'm so excited to have these chances to exchange with the people in her life, because she truly, I said, when she has a bedside manner, she has more than that. She's got that energy.
100%.
And you can totally
Yeah.
tell from you that you have been touched by the Cara Gutierrez.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope today goes well.
Thank you so much.
And I am sending you all the health and all the love. And
Thank you.
I think your students, since you being a teacher, are very lucky to have
Thank you.
Thanks for your time today.
Absolutely.
And thanks for watching.